morning. Welcome back to Everyday Struggle here on Complex News. I'm Nadeska with my guys DJ, Akademiks, and Wayno.
What's good?
Both of them showed up extra early for work today, which is never a good sign. What's going on, you guys? Wayno came to set. He has some notes here, handwritten notes even.
Oh, man, I just was doing a little bit of homework, that's all.
Some homework?
I wanted to put up some Kobe numbers today. You know what I mean?
Ag, why were you so early today?
I came early because I thought we were going to have a guest, but I'm glad we had no guest because I got a lot of shit to talk, and the guest would have stole my airtime. No cap.
Ooh.
I mean, it seems like you, Nicki Minaj, and the Barbs had a pretty stressful weekend. You good?
I had a great weekend.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
sure.
know about them. I don't know about them.
I don't know about that.
They were having a good weekend, but it went left real quick.
I mean,
Can they get right from that left, though?
It could always get right.
it could always get right. Well, look, if you guys missed all the drama this weekend, the final sales numbers are in for Nicki Minaj and Travis Scott. So unfortunately, Queen did not make it to the #1 spot. She sold, 185K. Travis is #1 again with 205,000. Nicki is not happy about this. She was on a rampage this weekend. Can we pull up some of these tweets? So here's Akademiks posting preliminary numbers. These were actually a little bit higher than they ended up being. Congrats to both, Ever the Diplomat. And here's Nicki in his comments. Fake news, all caps. This is wrong. Real numbers come on Sunday. So, Ak, what changed when the real numbers came in? I need a soundboard, like real bad.
Are you serious?
Marco.
Anyway.
What changed? So look, Nicki was, tell us why she was disputing the numbers in general. We spoke about this last week, sort of bundling tour tickets, merch.
Hey, Republicans fucking trash.
Okay.
I don't know how they let one of their top 5 artists catch this public embarrassment, but Nicki hopping up in the comments section, clearly she thought the numbers was going to be different. I actually rounded it up. The number I got was 187, but I knew the Barbs. So to get a little error, I said 190. It was really 185. And
why are you blaming this on Republic?
because every artist, just like I have sources that tell me the numbers, these artists, they work for labels who spend millions on stats. They know the numbers before I do. So if Nicki's on Instagram disputing the numbers, somebody or label would be like, no, babe, it's not what you think it is. It's really like in that range. She thought it was fake news, and for me, I had to stand on my credibility. So when the numbers came out to be a little 5K lower, she was right. It was a little bit, it was fake news a little bit, right? It's fake news. I said 190 was 185. But still the embarrassment continues because she was trying to insinuate that it was gonna be much higher, but no, sorry.
Yo, I just think at this point somebody needs to take Nicki's phone from her.
Right.
Or she needs to take her phone from herself. I think she needs to get off of social media. I said before that it seemed like this whole thing was like a bit of a breakdown.
Right.
That she couldn't take like not being the hottest, and you're not always gonna be the hottest, right? I mean, she's been in for 10, right? A kid that was 10 years old 10 years ago is 20 now. They not into the same shit they was into when they was younger, you know what I mean? And things change. I actually looked up this morning, I looked on Billboard, and other than Fifi, it's not one record from her album in the Hot 100, right? Now, I'm just judging by the music, because everybody's, I wouldn't compare her album to Travis's album.
Hold on that, because again, I want to be very factual today.
All right.
If you looked at the charts,
I looked at the Hot 100 chart.
That's gonna update tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
So
well, as of this morning.
Yeah. Well, that's for last week, so she wasn't
Okay,
even
okay,
eligible.
okay.
So her album wasn't even out yet.
Oh,
so
right,
tomorrow, the songs that should have charted will chart.
Okay.
So
Because
let's
Travis'
give her
whole
back.
album is in there. Like,
Oh, yeah, of course.
His whole album is in there, you know, and like I said, it looked like she's just catching a breakdown. Like she can't control herself.
So look, if Nicki dropped and didn't have a #1 album, it's definitely not the end of the world, right? But she titled the project Queen, right? There's a big statement here, and we can tell just from her actions that this means a lot to her. So let's start with some of the tweets. So look, she got at everyone because the numbers didn't really match up. So here's her saying she put blood, sweat, and tears into writing a dope album just for Travis and Kylie to basically tease people to come out and see their baby to sell more records. She said she even called up Travis Scott and told him she had the #1 album. Can you guys imagine how that conversation went? Nicki calling up Travis to dispute numbers over merch
If they don't
sales
have this conversation on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I'm done with E, bro. Like, there's some clown shit right here, man. I had the #1 album. Imagine Travis Scott is like, Nicki, you're right, sis. You got it. You got it. No, you don't have it. Let me tell you that tweet was so fraudulent. I don't know how. I don't know if the Barbs are allowing Nicki to get away with this. And I was disagreeing with you last week. I said, this ain't no breakdown. She defended her legacy. Because I co-sign her, still to this day, getting at niggas like Safari, who even insinuated that they wrote for her. You know why?
Word.
She's gonna go down as one of the best female rappers, and if a nigga's taking your credit or try to muddy your legacy, get it straight.
Okay, but that was last week. How do you feel this week?
But you were on to something.
Okay.
So I'm here to I'm here to tell you you were right.
Okay.
Because after this, she's blaming
Everybody.
Kylie Jenner, like, that's Travis Scott's baby mama. And a baby. He's newborn. I don't even think the baby been on this earth for like at least like 200 days yet. She's blaming This is so hypocritical because if we really want to be on that type of thing to say, oh, well, you're using these people to gain sales.
She has some really
Nicki,
famous friends that she's leaned on.
Cut that out. Nicki, you dropped a song called Barbie Dreams. You named every nigga from here to Sri Lanka. Like, what are you talking about? You named every nigga. That's the most name-dropping song ever.
It's a great song.
Cool song.
It's
cool.
a good song.
But you're saying that you can name drop everybody. Like, we thought it was a diss song at first. That's why the whole, oh shit, she said this about me. She said this about. No, it was a playful song. But nobody really gave you flack for that because that was dope. We all said it was a great homage to, of course, Biggie. That's great.
Yeah.
You tell me a nigga's baby moms can't support him? You got a child? You're blaming your number one on that?
I guess what counts as cheating, right? So if she says asking fans to come out and see Kylie and the baby was cheating, what about the bundling your merch and the tour tickets and all of that? None of that is considered cheating. It's just weird to sort of play the game and then be mad at the game.
I feel like she hasn't adapted to today's game. And the 4 years off, I mean, to take 4 years off and still come in at number 2 and do she still did good numbers, she just hasn't done the numbers that she's used to doing.
Yeah.
That's the shock.
To her. She's
like,
making it a bigger deal than I feel like it
actually
needs to.
is. Like, she's making it a bigger deal because if she didn't say nothing and just let people totally judge the music and not talk about writing and all this other shit, will we even be having any of these conversations?
Nah.
No, but she feels like she's been bullied and media has been on her back and not supporting her or trying to push other artists to the forefront.
Like Drake, like push other artists like Drake to the forefront because he also caught an L in this apparently.
This is a PR nightmare for whoever is on Nicki's PR team. And I thought Karen Civil was down in that camp, but I will never attribute some of the just craziness I'm seeing here to Karen Civil. She would never co-sign this. I can't imagine. Nicki out here is really going out sad. And I'm watching her just try to like pinpoint everyone and just try to place blame.
So here's the next set of blame. Can we pull up the Drake set of tweets? So she was upset about Travis for his promo. And you remember when Drake's album dropped? Of course, that did extremely well. He wasn't a lot of playlists. But here she is saying, look, Spotify put Drake's face on every playlist, but they told me they'd have to teach me a lesson for playing my music 10 minutes early on Queen Radio over on Apple. Then she followed up. I mean...
What I will say is this, because the funny thing about there's a conspiracy online. I don't know if you guys have heard this.
What?
There's an Atlantic conspiracy. If you say anything critical of Nicki, Atlantic is paying you. Trust me. This is a conspiracy. This is one that she is suddenly almost kind of supported and her fan base is running with. Me, luckily, I got no horse in the race. Travis Scott could get it too. By the way, and let's be very clear. Let's be very clear. In terms of your last question, are they cheating?
I know.
If they're cheating, they're both cheating. The thing is, you know what Nicki's mad? Nicki tried to cheat but got called by the teacher.
Right, and I don't want to say cheating.
Travis
Maybe that's
Scott
not
got
the
an
great
A.
word. Yeah.
And
They're playing the game.
No, I'll use
the
cheating.
game. Okay.
Well, it's not really cheating. You're right.
It's the game.
Just they're playing the game. The game is evolving. Travis Scott planned for the game or planned to cheat, whatever you want to call it, months ago. So what Nicki was really complaining about, and by the way, this is 100% why she came up with my comments about fake news. She thought that her cheat would go through. There's a bunch of bundles that she did. She was tweeting out merch. Yo, here's the title link. Here's this.
New
I got
physicals
the
at Target.
Fifi
There's a
collab.
bonus
I
in it.
got the. Yo, she had everything.
This is, the whole thing about this is like she dragging herself through the court of public opinion. Like she's dragging herself through this shit. And it's like once you giving yourself a chance to be judged by everybody, and I feel like there's a lot of people that couldn't wait for Nicki to have to slip off her pivot a bit. But if she's saying that Spotify's trying to teach her a lesson, who did you upset at Spotify prior to that? Because if they supported you, they just support you.
Right.
That's how I feel. Did the Queen Radio thing didn't play last week?
I don't know. She's been having Queen Radio. Everybody and their mama showed up. You know the crazy thing is, she even had Kim K show up to Queen Radio. It's just crazy. She could get mad at Travis Scott, baby mama, for tweeting something now. She had everybody. I think maybe Michelle Obama was there. I don't know.
Another question I had is like, she's being so big and critical about the whole writing and nobody never wrote for me thing. But a couple months ago, she was saying about how y'all need to get off that writing shit when it come to Drake, right?
Right.
Like, she's like, y'all need to get off of that. But we were able to hear reference tracks for Drake, right? But she kept saying, ain't no reference tracks for me, ain't nothing for me. But what does that matter right now? Like, what all of that, none of that matters. And like I said, these is not bad numbers. It's just that she put herself in this position by trying to put it out there that, oh, I'm better because I write my shit.
Right.
Hey, what's the difference between what she's doing and what Kanye did? When Kanye ran up on stage and basically like, yo, Travis Scott won. And all you're doing is trying to say, no, I really won and disrespect him. You're right. Some shit counted for him that didn't count for you. Whoop-de-doo. And by the way, it's because last minute, let's keep in mind, like, these little gimmicks and tricks that were so overplayed and just, like, they look so whack. Your album wasn't doing good. Your first week, the labels, they're so strategic and they could tell how much you're going to sell so much ahead in advance. So when I tweet out, like, projections, they know that way before me. The first day, Queen numbers weren't looking good. You know what happened? Nicki, you on press. Go do everything. Talk to Flex. Go ahead. You get me? Still not looking good. We need some other shit. This is midweek. This is crisis mode. If this is not crisis mode, tell me what it is. Midweek, we're dropping merch. Travis Scott he announced that he was dropping merch before his album.
Right.
So he was prepared, right? So don't get mad at him because she's right. Travis Scott sold 250,000 units of merch, which counted for albums. You know why? His label pre-bought 250,000 albums.
Right.
And they matched it up with merch because you know why? They wanted to do this little finesse or whatever you call it. You try to do this midweek, except it didn't go through. So you can't be mad at them. And just watching her blame everyone, again, even the Spotify thing. Hey, the Spotify.
Yeah, now is it like you're burning bridges? Does Drake feel a way about this? Well, I guess their relationship aside, they have whatever, but like going at the media, which we'll get to next, going at Spotify, at you, taking shots at everyone, is it worth burning the bridges now?
The whole thing about it is if the shit was fire, it'd be fire. That's it. Like, we're not even comparing the music at this point. We're comparing the marketing tactics and the sales and all. We're not even talking about the music.
I know, but she says in her tweets, the subtweets is that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if the shit was fire though, like, heat is undeniable, right? If you got great music and it's appreciated well, like, through all of this, if people felt like that shit was really good, then they just support it. For all the barbs and all the people out there that go crazy and jump in everybody's comments, every time you mention Nicki name 3 times like Candyman, they pop up, right? Go listen to that fucking music.
Right.
Stay out of everybody's comments and go stream the music. Go share this shit. Start a street team. I seen her posting videos of people going to Target saying, oh, the album sold out. Who the fuck go to Target to buy music in 2018? Who goes to Target to buy music?
It was for the bonus track.
Oh, really? Like,
I'm
like,
trying to help.
Where can you even put a CD at anymore? So it just doesn't make sense to me at this point. My thing is just focus on what is this rollout?
Yeah.
Like, what is this rollout? I don't know what the rollout is at this point.
Hey, I mean, I think I kind of already seen the wave she was on yesterday as she was going through, which now I'm coming to admit seems like a breakdown. But, and again, I don't know if it was that last year, I don't know if you read it the whole way through, but she said, after the Spotify thing, she says they're systematically blackballing me.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Are you serious? Are we? Yo, by the way, there's been so many artists that have their own stories about when Nicki was on top. Nicki prevented them from going to certain award shows, prevented them from being on certain songs, prevented them from having certain situations. And now you don't get to be the face on the gospel playlist on Spotify like Drake, and you're now being blackballed? Yeah. No, they treat you like what you are. At this point, I don't care if you call your album Queen, whatever it is. My nigga, there's like 10 artists selling better than you. You're in the mix. There was a time where like you were like, it was the Wayne, Drake, and you were like 2A or 2B. At this point, you're like 7.
Why do you guys think the fandom doesn't match up? Can we pull up this this screenshot of like the Barb's and Axe messages. You
I
were
love
sharing
it.
this with us this weekend. They were really getting
They're so
at him.
disloyal.
To your point, her fans are so aggressive and so loyal. It's confusing that they have time to abuse everyone on the internet, but then to your point, the numbers don't match up because it seems like they come out so strong to support her.
That's why I retweet everything they say, because that's what they want, right? We gonna push it as much as we can. You can say whatever you want about me. It doesn't harm me. But my thing is support that music. Like if y'all are so strong about how she's the best and this and that and the third, which I would never take away from her ability, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why like my stance on this whole shit is I love lyricism, I love rap, I love ability, but I just feel like the music didn't match the title. Right. The music didn't match, didn't subside for all the time we had to wait for another project. And just how she's been going about the shit. Now, if y'all support it that much, why y'all not listening to the music that much?
And what I will say is that about most fan bases, just in general, is that this is probably the proof that people love to identify with a movement more than they really support whatever music or whatever it is. Like, if they see a trend, a movement, they want to be a part of it, rather than them saying, I just love the music, right? Because you could see Nicki with like, 100 million followers on Instagram. She got all the followers, they'll retweet, whatever. When it's attack time, they're ready to go.
Yep.
But when it's #1 time, Stormy actually wins.
The thing about this is like less is more, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, I feel like if it was less of her being loud about all of these things, maybe it would have been more on the return of the music. All of this stuff, like we're talking every day. We're talking about the hairline thing. The tweets, this, nobody's talking about the actual music. And then when you do get to the music, people is like, it's okay, like it's not as good as it used to be. So I just think that everything's just been diverted, like, and she did that to herself, you know what I mean? Like she basically did that to herself. No, I ain't getting no check from Atlantic, you know what I mean? Like to say anything.
This is the last stands like 50 in 2007. Doesn't mean it's over, but that image of you being like the hottest and almost untouchable, it's done, Nicki. It's done. What you need to do is get back on your grind. And by the way, that's what I said. That's what when I said to you, things could change. Because if Nicki humble up, start learning from others. Like, one of the biggest problems with Nicki is that she's not likable. All we've been seeing is anger and vitriol and just bitterness aimed at everybody in this rollout. You did this. Oh, y'all don't appreciate me. Just relax, shorty. You get me? Like, if she had that. And you know what's funny? Because I saw her trying to like turn it, but it was too late.
When?
Last night on Twitter.
Turn where?
No, she was trying to turn that like, oh no, I'm not bitter. I'm like joking.
It ends with like, I love you.
It's a sarcasm.
Yeah, she was like, I'm like, people have been calling me.
I think it's
and you
too
know when
late.
they call me,
Can
I've
we
been like,
pull up the next set of tweets? I feel like it's too late for that. I'm curious just how people are gonna like feel about her a few months down the line. So Pitchfork did an article sort of criticizing her for working with 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
That's something to be expected, right? You sort of, if you're gonna collaborate with him, just decide. You know there's gonna be backlash. So she gets on Twitter and essentially says like she found out that people get paid to write bad articles about her, and again it becomes this conspiracy. Like they spend millions of dollars to ruin you. Look, I'm sure there have been people who accepted paychecks, but I've been in journalism for a minute. I don't know what Pitchfork has to gain. Who would be paying them to tarnish her reputation?
The whole thing about it is ain't nobody got to pay. Ain't nobody got to give nobody to write a bad article about you when people don't like you. That's just that. Like nobody has to pay nothing when people are not favorable of you, when you're not likable. And for everything that she's saying, I'm pretty sure that there's a slew of people that have something to say about her as well. I've never met this woman, never like had a conversation with her. All of this is based on me listening to her music and seeing what she's done and what she's doing. And after looking at all of this, it makes you say like, I don't really, like you kind of cool on listening to the music, because if you so happy, then why you seem so mad? That's just my thing, like, you know?
I feel you. And by the way, you know when she blasted that one writer, whatever it was, the person who said something
DMs.
she DM'd, you know what? At that time, I was like,
That's not the first time that's happened, by the way.
But you know what? It's easy to just say a publication. There's niggas up here, there's some little weirdo niggas up here at Complex that Complex don't even like, and they'll write some weird shit. You know what I mean? Like, again, you have writers that probably have personal relationships, or you may have offended. Nicki has shitted on hella niggas, man. So, like, it's not Pitchfork. That particular writer, and I'm not gonna lie, some of it do seem a little petty, right? And also some of it is just judging her by her past.
Right.
In the sense of, Nicki, you have been one of the strongest advocates for like feminism and women and whatever. Like, to see you doing this, not saying you should have an issue with said artists, but to see you now in a particular point in your career where you almost have to run to the nearest place with some heat to continue your heat is a little bit alarming.
Right.
Right? So again, that matched with probably the writers who probably had a bad experience with her, which I don't know if she'll ever acknowledge that, because in the eyes of everyone, these are organizations. Like, someone's at a board meeting, like, "Yo, listen, guys, how do we get out Nicki Minaj? Like, how do we get her? Nobody cares like that, Nicki. The fuck?
You know what's so crazy about this? Because it's like, you don't have to dim anybody's light for you to shine. And all I'm seeing is her like dimming lights. Like, oh nah, Travis Scott, Drake and Spotify, like just dimming lights so that my light could shine on me. And it's like, that's what I'm saying. If the music was good enough and the rollout was good enough, people would just simply engage in that. Now, whatever you felt like you had problems with, address it in the music and do it in a tasteful way. Like, she's dragging herself through the court of public opinion, and people can't wait for the top person to have one little moment where they slip, because now everybody's gonna pour what they feel into it.
I'm glad that this week is finally over, because in rap, notoriously, the first week number is where everyone focuses on. But beyond a lot of this pathetic attempts at trying to inflate sales that not only she's been doing, Travis as well, now we get to see how she works the record. Now you gotta work the record, right? Like, you dropped an album, you gotta work these records, we gotta see what happens, you go on tour, let's see how it pans out. I'm looking to see if the Nicki of this week that we've seen, I've never seen Nicki like this. She's unraveling. I'm looking to see if she changes her stride or realizes, you know what, tripping. Or, you know what, now they're down with me, or now whatever, like, let me really get back on. It will be very telling of her. You get me? But sometimes, and in my honest opinion, I look at Nicki, who has created this whole diva queen-like atmosphere. You can't come down from being a queen to do shit that you would consider the maybe peasants to do, like those grinds, you get me? And it's interesting for her to get back up there and be that queen again. And again, she's of course still a queen, she's a legend. You know what I mean? She don't never need to sell another record.
It's just we don't like to see her
Yeah,
going
nobody
like
wants
this on
to-
the internet.
I just don't want to
It's
see
a little
my favorite
disconcerting.
artist just looking so desperate.
This is why it's, like, social media is such a gift and a curse, because it's like when Nicki's not tweeting, of course you want her, like, I wonder what she's doing, I wonder how she would tweet. Now she's tweeting so much, like the same shit with Kanye. Like, Kanye took so much time off tweeting, and then he starts just blurting out all types of shit. And it's like the same thing with her. Like, she's just saying anything. Like, we getting disses, this person not writing, I paid for this, you did that. I'd rather just be engaged with the music. That's all I want from you at this point. Yeah. If it's not that, then I'm cool, and I'm just cool. Feel me?
By the way, I think the way she's going as well is to kind of say, you know what? Fuck it. If not for anything, I'm going to just keep my little fan base and we just going to go to war with everyone. But all I'm going to say is the Barbs don't look that strong these days. Okay? I don't know. Okay, it's not the Beehive now.
So wait,
okay?
are they done? Are they still in your messages?
Oh, they trying, but most of them flirting now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, most of them flirting.
Be careful.
Ike ends up dating a Barb.
No.
Plot twist.
It's a lot of,
Yo.
it's a wild assortment of Barbs. Though.
I
Be
got
careful.
a story. Hey, yesterday there was a, I don't even,
Now, come
careful,
on, let's
brother.
hear
that's
the
like
story. Let's
embarrassment.
hear
I
the
don't
story.
even,
Yeah, don't play with them. It's a
Yeah.
wild assortment. You don't want to get crying gamed.
yeah, listen,
If you ever seen that movie.
to the nice Barbie dudes, listen, please stop sending. There's a couple.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want
A
to.
number don't got no name or no gender with it. So I'm like, what's up? Oh, okay.
They like
okay.
those. They like those.
Zach, you
Controversy,
get this,
controversy. Okay,
Oh,
let's get
man.
moving.
They're there for axe thighs, man. All right, let's
I was about to say something, but it'd been a crazy pause.
pause? All right.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna
let's
play
move
like
on
that.
before
Yeah.
it happens.
Only do that with the snake, please.
Boy,
No,
see, okay, let's keep it going.
All right, maybe we should actually talk about some music. Young Thug finally released Slime Language last week. Let's listen to a snippet of Chanel featuring Gunna.
You want, you can get it. Anything you see, you can get it. He gon' make keys to the Bentley. When I fuck her, I got good intentions. I just can't get my pound to start itching. What on me like I live with the fishes. I know every color in tennis. Got the diamond put in by my dentist. I'ma shine when I'm skinning and grinning.
So Thugger did get locked up, arrested, after his listening party at Dave & Buster's for gun possession, but they bailed him out. He's good. I love Young Thug. Ak, what do you think about this project? This just seems so him to have a listening party, get locked up, and come home right after.
Disappointed. Disappointed. I will say this. I wish they'd let me know that this is not a Young Thug album. This is a compilation project for YSL.
I was about to say
Like, I thought it was Young Thug, so I'm going and listening, and the features, which, by the way, I will always salute Thug for this, but, you know what I mean, on his personal project or if it's an album that he's rolling out, I do want to see him collaborate with some of the greats that he always collaborates with. And, of course, he had Uzi on there, but mostly was YSL. Like, he had his girlfriend rapping on it. Jericho Carly, she did her thing. It's the first time I heard her rap. And sing.
Lil Duke.
Duke always on his projects.
Yeah.
Always do great. Gunna. You know, Gunna is in his bag these days. We had to join with Lil Baby, Uzi, but beyond that, Dolly was on there. It was a lot of local, and I mean that very respectfully in terms of like, that's his camp. Like his camp was on it. And I wanted more Thug. He was a little bit too free and letting everybody kind of get theirs off. You get me? And then I had to remind myself, even though we anticipated, or I thought it was a Young Thug album, and maybe I didn't get the memo, this is YSL. Young Thug presents YSL.
Right. And you know what's crazy? Like, I wanted to disagree with Ak on something today, but it seems like we've been on the same page. What I did like on there was the drink Audemars. I think it's Audemars with Tracy T. Tracy T signed with MMG a few years ago, and he doesn't get as much shine. And he's one of the he's a dope dude coming out of Atlanta, but he doesn't get a lot of shine. I like that. But after listening to it, I really like Young Thug in doses. I can't take a lot, and the project was a little bit too long for me.
I never really feel like a Young Thug project's too long either.
Really?
Like Jeffrey, I don't know, I like him. He makes good songs, he has good melodies.
Jeffrey
but
was fire.
I know,
Yeah,
but
Jeffrey
this
was
one,
fire.
this is the first Thugger project, not an album, I guess, where I find myself skipping a lot of songs,
I skipped a lot of songs too, but I like every song with Gunna though. Every song with Gunna. I could listen to Gunna rap about getting fly all day. Like, that's all he really raps about is getting fly. Like, but I love the way Gunna raps. Like, but overall it was cool. Like, I wasn't too impressed.
Right.
But it's not whack. But it just, for me, it was a little bit longer than I anticipated, and a lot of features. Because then I said the same thing. This sounds like a compilation, and then when I was listening to it, it says Young Thug and Young Stoner Life presents Slime.
Yeah, which
Yeah, I would have came on here and slammed him for this weak ass effort. Except it's a collaboration tape.
Yeah.
So I'm really expecting. I think he's still trying, and you know, a lot of artists who are on, they don't spend their limelight wasting on trying to get their niggas on. It's like, all right, man, when I'm kind of drying up, it's your turn, all right? Yeah. But him dropping Slime Language now, a very anticipated project, and trying to give people looks. Give him credit for that. I'm waiting for his solo project.
We're all waiting for it, and where is it? What's he waiting for is a question.
He on tour.
No.
But it's like Young Thug, he doesn't need to heat up, right? I feel like he could just drop a hit and like, let's get to the album. Like, what's taking so long?
Well, we should have got high tunes a long time ago.
Word.
But I gotta believe this is 300 trying to manage his situation. Also, him probably changing his philosophy a bit, because there was a time where he was dropping a mixtape every 2 months. Every 2 months. This has been the longest we've been without a Thugger project. And I know we got Super Slimy, but like, it's the longest we've been without a project. And also we got the EP, Hear No Evil.
Right.
So I think he probably is trying to change his philosophy a little bit. And 300, who, as we could tell by their like little promo campaign, they're sending out snakes, they're doing this.
It was a dope rollout. That was a
dope rollout, right?
It felt like a rollout for a solo album.
Right,
Exactly.
it did.
But it's probably, if I had to bet, he's coming again in the next 4 or 5 months, and it'll probably be either a mixtape or an album.
We don't want no mixtapes.
Yeah, I can
Let's
see
just get the album, man.
Thugger dropping like
I think it's
top of the
mixtapes
year.
or albums. I don't know why they don't call it an album.
That's all. I mean, we all perceive and we all take things in based on what they call them.
Right.
So if somebody says this is an EP, they all spending an album budget for it. Like, even when somebody says this is a mixtape, they're spending their first album option money to make it.
It's just that he's the only rapper at his caliber that confuses me. That when I look back at his body of work, I don't know if I could be like, well, Thugger dropped an official. I don't know.
When you look at Thugger though, he's just always been confusing. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a fact.
He's always been confusing.
I was about to echo your point. Young Thug definitely right now. I was going to say if y'all ready for the hot take. The hot take for me is Young Thug is the greatest artist of our time that does not have that one essential album that just like defines his whole like artistry and like catalog.
And it upsets me that he doesn't.
You get me? The closest, I mean, you could probably pick one of the Slime seasons that's pretty dope. You could probably say Jeffrey, but it's not that quintessential Thug album. And
Like when you think of Thug, you think of that, like one of those.
Right. I want to be able to name a project, and it's not like he hasn't had enough incredible songs to put together to make one great body of work. It just feels like the songs are all over the place.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Everything is all over the place. Cause I really don't know, like, I don't know his whole discography. I just know a bunch of songs everywhere. Like, I don't know, like when I think of Thug, I don't go to one project to just listen to that. Like, I bounce around a lot, you know? But yeah, he doesn't have like that one. But I mean, maybe, honestly, like this whole him being on tour with Cole, Earth Gang, Jaden, all that shit, maybe a lot of new music is gonna come from that. Because I mean, every time you see a tour, you usually see guys start to work together more after that. Maybe it's gonna come top of the year. When is this tour over? Are we going to one of these shows?
We always say we're going.
I'm going.
and
I don't know about y'all.
Nowhere. I want to go. I want to
going.
go. I do want to go.
I'm at the Aubrey and Amigo show.
I definitely want to go there.
Actually, Drake, give me some tickets, bro.
I put in the request for you. Don't worry about it. I did, yeah.
Right.
I got you.
But I mean, maybe something is gonna come after this tour is over.
Young
know?
Thug and J. Cole?
Hell yeah, they're gonna make a. Yo, they have to make a record. Like, of course, I would never want to hear like when I seen Cole get next to Pump. I don't want to hear that. Like, cool that y'all got a chance to talk and you gave that young man advice, but I don't ever want to.
Two of my favorite artists. I just can't imagine them like doing like a few joints together. But hey, I'm here for it. I just want to be able to look back and be like, this was Thugger's classic album. I remember where I was the day this dropped. I just want that moment as a fan. I feel like I deserve it, but whatever, you know.
I feel you.
We'll be waiting.
Hopefully.
Anything else?
Nah.
We got some more good news today. Well, was that good news? We haven't had any good news today, but here's some. Kodak Black is finally home. And look, man, it seems like Kodak is really, really, really a changed man. We heard he was studying, trying to get his GED. So his lawyer, Bradford Cohen, told Complex, look, he only got 2 hours of freedom a day from his cell, and those 2 hours he spent studying. He said he studied for like 3 or 4 months straight. He even took the 10-week parenting course and a life skills course. It really seems like Kodak might be a changed man this time, or he'll be super focused.
I hope so. I mean, how many times, like, I found out about Kodak maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I can't even count the amount of times he's going to jail and came back. But I mean, him, you know, we spoke about like earlier in the season about like him going to getting his GED and everything and wanting to change himself. Now he just has to do it because, you know, everybody just expects him to do wrong again.
Right.
So hopefully he could get back on track. I feel like that same thing you said about Thug, I feel the same way about Kodak. Like, he's a guy who doesn't have like that one defining project. He has a lot of songs, but for me, I don't have like a one project I think of when I think of Kodak. You know, so
Project Baby.
Project Baby?
The first one.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But with Kodak, do I think he changed? No.
What?
Gotta be honest.
Why?
I don't think he changed.
What are you basing this on?
I'm basing on everybody who knows. Listen, I was talking to NBA YoungBoy. We were on live together, and he said, listen, y'all be thinking I'm gonna be fucked up. He says Kodak is just, he's just a different type of person who still doesn't even understand where he's at in like the industry that he's in. He still operates like how he operates. Do I think he probably acknowledged some mistakes that got him in jail? Yeah, like you wouldn't go to jail and just come back out like, oh, I did nothing wrong. Of course that, but do I think he's now, like we're hearing that, oh, he's now a scholar, you get me? He's now like he's into the scriptures. He's always been a reader. Like I talked to him before and he was legit reading. And I know
What does he usually read? I'm not even trying to be funny.
No cap. He was naming some books that I didn't know. And I was like, I don't know if this nigga got it for decoration. He's really reading, but he reads, okay? And also, he's been into the Bible, and if you listen to his music, you can tell there's some religious influence, not saying he is like super, like, he's a saint or nothing, right? So I think it's really with him, and I don't know if he has gotten to that point where it's there to make that change.
Right.
And what I mean by that change is that it's a change from being in the streets to now being in the street. And I think that change is necessary because, you're a huge artist and you gotta stop acting accordingly. Like you're moving like a street nigga and everything you do is on some, you know what I mean? Like you gotta graduate.
Well, you gotta remember, just one thing about being in the streets, he's been in the streets longer than he's been in the industry, professionally, right? I mean, that is not an easy transition, and we gotta remember that he's very young. Right, he's very young. He's a grown-ass man. Like, no, let's not get it twisted. He's a grown-ass man. He makes tons of money. He has tons of fans. But he's still very young and he's still learning. I mean, of course, I don't look. We talked about him like reading the Bible and all that. He's not coming out gospel Kodak.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I asked about the book. Me and religion, I don't want to get into that, but like I think just reading other books opens your mind a lot. Reading is one of the best ways to grow.
I do want to give him a chance.
Right.
I believe that, like, I got a lot of friends that they had to fuck up 15 times to get it right the 16th. And, you know, if you get the opportunity to push yourself past adversity, then go ahead. But, I mean, let's give him a shot. I mean, I don't want to write him off. Of course, want to hear some new music, but I already seen him. He already got icy again. He done cut his hair. Seen him in a Bentley already. Like, you know what I mean? So he's getting back to having fun. And I think that's what makes us like Kodak so much. The fact that he has fun with who he is. Because at the same time that we do want him to change things about him, we always talk about that tug of war where that's the shit we love from him the most. You know what I mean?
One thing I'll say is I was very impressed by some of the things he was tweeting, whether he really meant it or not. But I got to assume he meant it because, you know, when an artist starts having those reflections about their team, that's when they're usually, it's time to go a different direction. Because a lot of times you realize niggas is either dead weight or they're just there to bring you down. And not like literally bring you down, but get you involved in shit that you shouldn't be involved in. Not at that point in your life. So he was having a lot of realizations that somehow, I don't know if it was him tweeting or I don't know the label, but the tweets were fire. It was him recognizing and saying, hey, you know what? There's all these niggas around me when I'm out and they're co-signing all this, and you know where I'm at now. This is a path I got to try by myself. Right. So I was definitely very impressed with that. Also, another thing that I'm hoping that I see a significant change with him is that he's not on papers anymore. And I've never been on papers, but just watching people like Meek, watching other artists who have been on papers and still are on papers, they look like it's a burden. It looks like they're on edge. They're walking on eggshells, and they're always looking around like, I hope. Fuck what I'm doing. I hope nobody around me or nobody that gets around the people that's around me does anything that could jeopardize my freedom.
Yeah.
He's now officially free, and I'm excited to see how he uses that and how he operates knowing that.
Yeah, that's more, you know, that's a self-conscious decision because you do, you know, you love your friends. We can't really, you know, growing up, you don't really get to pick your friends, but not like, you're usually friends with who you grew up around, right? And it's hard to break away. It's hard for you to admit that certain types of people will bring you down. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be them doing something negative. It could just be their energy, them talking about certain things. Like if you talking about positivity and you trying to speak certain things in existence and you got talking about some, yo, such and such got shot or they done did this or they done did that, that's gonna creep into your universe. That's gonna get into your mind and it's gonna come out through you. So if he could just get that in order, first and foremost with his team, I don't know any of them, but if he could get that shit in order, I think he'll be good. And just understand that like you're worth more out here than in there.
Absolutely.
You know?
Do you know who the guys were in the video that met him when he came out of jail?
I think managers and some label people.
I know my man Orlando from Atlantic, like that's the one who signed him. Like he's down there, you know what I mean, working with him.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, like I think he met up with his fam afterwards, but the people who came, you ain't gonna send the actual niggas in the streets going. but I'm just hoping I just see much different from him. Yeah, and I think it'll happen.
Yeah,
man. Let's
welcome home, Kodak.
give Kodak a shot. Hashtag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Give us some music. We're excited to hear.
Word.
All right, let's get through some quick hits before we go today. Let's start with Drake. So he is on tour with the Three Amigos, and they stopped in Chicago recently while performing Know Yourself. He switched up the lyrics a little bit. Instead of then Kanye dropped, it was polos and backpacks. He said then Kanye flopped, right, Ak? Or am I misquoting your guy here?
No, you definitely quote him right.
So Drake's still feeling away, it seems.
Drake, the king of going to niggas' cities and dissing. He was doing this 4-6-9. He did the same with Meek. But honestly, though, I thought it was a little weak that he mentioned that.
Well, it's 200K first week. Technically a flop for Kanye. It was 7 songs. Drake's album had 100. So.
I mean, if Kanye sold his sneakers as sales, then he not seriously.
Why doesn't he though? He should have.
Right.
He'd have been out of here.
But I mean, the music, the whole thing about it is just the music, yo. Like, if it's that good and it's 7 songs, then you would think people would keep running that shit back. Nobody's talked about Ye since that shit dropped.
208 or whatever is sold. That's pretty impressive.
For 7 songs.
Great.
For 7
that's
songs.
Why
That's great, but we're talking about Kanye.
And also, I judged it as an EP. I remember The Weeknd dropped like a 5-song EP, and it did like 200. And because I'm not judging like a full album, because I know the gimmicks niggas are doing, like basically putting 80 songs in an album for more streams, I gave it a pass. But if we look over the years, Ye's numbers hasn't, and also let's keep it real, like, Ye hasn't been the guy who's been too focused on, yo, this is my numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
For Life of Pablo, there was no first week numbers. We just got
Yeezus,
some
you wanted
fictional
nothing.
title stream, right? Yeezus, he came off of a very strong album with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and he could have really capitalized on it and really hit a home run, and he went the other route. So I've never judged Kanye. You know how we just don't judge Kanye on some, the lyricist thing?
Right.
Because of how he operates. We don't judge him on sales like that because he's not the guy who comes down and says, I sell the most. That's why, to go back to an earlier topic, Nicki looks so crazy.
But you know what? Fuck all that, because you know what I like about Drake doing that? Yeah, until we cool, we ain't cool. Fuck you. Like, for real. Like, nah, I'm gonna keep it 100. Unless we have a man-to-man conversation, fuck you and everything you stand for until then.
Would you like for Pusha to be dissing Drake on every tour stop?
I mean, he doesn't. It doesn't matter to me. Like, you acting like Pusha's my uncle or some shit.
No. What I'm asking, if
he
that's
did,
your philosophy.
No, I mean, until we cool, it's whatever. Like, I mean, he's not performing fucking Story of Adidon, and we've seen people I don't think he's not performing that.
That's what I'm saying. Why not?
I mean, because it's a dead issue for him. For Pusha, he feels like he won the battle, so he doesn't have to keep doing that. When he's at shows, and I've seen the videos, and people saying fuck Drake, he's like, okay, now that y'all got that out of the way, let me go ahead. He's not saying, yeah, fuck Drake. He's not pushing that button. But for me, I always said that it was more of a Kanye problem with Drake than it was a Pusha problem with Drake. I'm down. Listen, I'm down with fuck him. Fuck, if you feel like that, keep going, like, for real.
I'm surprised by Wayno having this take right now.
Why?
Because you know what? Again, even though I am, you know what I mean?
You with the bullshit.
We hold it down for Orbs over here, okay? But, gotta be honest, Drake, listen, even though we feel like we know the story, unless you're gonna speak on it, stop taking shots at Kanye.
That's what I'm saying. It's so
feel that
confusing.
Like, listen, the crazy thing is, Kanye has not even mentioned his name once. It looks crazy.
I know, but at the same time.
We understand the issue, but come on, bro.
Listen, let me tell you something. If I had a problem with you years ago and we never got over it, and I see you and you might have a little cane or some shit, I'm gonna kick your cane. Fuck that. Fuck that. Real shit.
Look.
That's how we giving it. I'm from Harlem, man. We don't
City shit,
Yo.
man.
We don't let shit go, man. For real. Fuck that.
Yeah, but I ain't saying Drake should let shit go, because if we're going by the story that seems pretty public at this point, that Kanye did some snake stuff and snitched on him about his child, which that's probably one of the worst.
Fuck that, man.
I
Ride.
guess snitched on about your son.
Man.
Like, you know what I mean? It's not like.
It's not gonna lead to nothing.
I would like for Drake to address it a little bit more, because we're still a little bit like.
Yeah, but what I have a feeling this is gonna end in them having a makeup and some song together. It's just like so up and down.
Switch, but anytime it's an unfavorable situation between two people, people always switch the name out with somebody else's name. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna say when Kanye dropped it was polos and backpacks, and that was a line bigging him up. Like, he's not gonna say that. So yeah, he knows that it's gonna get, you know what I mean, shared and all of that shit.
But what's the point? Is he hoping that it gets back to Kanye?
Nah, I don't think.
That's what's confusing.
I don't think it's that deep. I don't think it's that deep. It just, he's gonna switch the line because we all know what's
I just
been
can't
public with
understand
them.
how deep it is in industry relationships. I just don't get it. They talk about how much they love and admire each other. Kanye comes out and defends him when the Rolling Stone article comes out. Then they beef. Then he goes to Wyoming. Then they beef again. What?
I would rather him just speak on it, because it's bothering you. It's bothering you that you thought it is. You don't think it's bothering Drake?
Oh,
I think it's He had a whole album rapping about, I can't believe my idols is fake. Like, yeah, it's bothering him.
not bothering
now, I don't think like he's walking around like, I can't believe Kanye snitched on me, but it bothered him, right? And I think
it's not. I don't think it's bothered. I just think it was. Listen, man. If I had a song and your name was in the song, it was bigging you up, and then I'm not cool with you no more, I would either switch the name with somebody else's name, or I would say something to fucking degrade you. It's just that simple.
But
it's not that deep. It's just him flipping.
It is that deep.
Just by saying Kanye flopped, to the music industry standards and all these numbers, he did flop.
No. But the fact that he's using every opportunity, you could swap it out for anybody else's name. Seriously.
Why would you, man? Fuck it, man. Let him diss the nigga, yo. What's the problem?
Just like
that.
when Madonna played him or whatever, it said something about him about their little vid made, whatever.
Yeah.
He switched her name out for Rihanna. He ain't diss her, right? You know what I mean?
But that's a totally, come on, yeah.
What an example. Okay.
That's a totally different.
I got it. But anyway, what I'm saying is that I feel like there's too many songs on his album that are addressing that quote unquote betrayal or whatever, the snake moves, for me to think that he doesn't still feel away. And again, he has 100% right to feel away. However, for an audience member, it looks a little funny now because we're kind of past all that, especially when you've never spoken on it.
I think we going too deep into it. It ain't that serious, but fuck it.
In Chicago?
Yeah, nigga, fuck that. This that nigga, man. Fuck that. Fuck that, yo.
Wayno's just here for the jokes today.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. It's cool. They're going to make up in a couple years.
What's your team about to call
Do a
this nigga
7-track
Wayno
album.
like, yeah, I know we cool, but you can't talk about yeah like that, bro.
I got my own opinion, man.
All right, so a couple weeks ago, we talked about Tay-K, and look how much he wants to be a part of the rap game. He wanted to be an XXL freshman, but of course he's still locked up, and it doesn't seem like things are improving. He got caught with a cell phone in jail. He got accused of assaulting an officer after they found it, so now he's on, 23 hours lockdown.
23-1.
It's unfortunate because he's just so young, but this doesn't seem like it gets him any closer to really being in the game, unfortunately.
I mean, is it really unfortunate? I mean, it's unfortunate.
He did horrible
for
things, but it's just he's so young.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for any young man to go to prison because I feel like when people like Tay-K go through what they go through, it's not just him. I feel like it's more the community that failed him. The OGs failed him. You know what I mean? Because if he had any inclination, any little sliver of talent, then they would have been a little bit more in his ear if he had them around. So I won't hold him accountable for every situation he's been in, but I mean he's in jail. Right. How much more sorry can we feel for somebody in jail facing 2 capital murders and robberies? And when you look at the whole rap sheet and everything that's going on, this is what you got now. You know what I mean? I mean, the tough shit, the kicking doors and the killing and all that shit. This is what it gets you. So I think that more kids who look up to Tay-K should say, hey, we rap about that shit, but we ain't gonna actually do it because he's showing you everything you could get. You can't even have the regular privilege of using a cell phone. It'll get you 23 hours in solitary confinement, which will drive you crazy.
I'm on the wrong side.
And-
It was
and-
jail.
and-
There's no cell phones in jail.
No. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is this is what crime gets you.
No, okay.
When you put yourself in a position when you're committing crimes or you're alleged to commit crimes and you're in prison, you lose these regular privileges. What I'm saying is bringing some awareness to these little niggas that sing these songs all day, that point all these guns in the cameras, that don't think about the end result of what that gun is going to get them.
Okay.
That's the point I was trying to make, brother. Now
right.
you can go.
But I'll still disagree with the other point.
What?
If, again, we're speaking about allegations. We don't know if he did nothing. He could be innocent for all we know, right? But if somebody did murder, I don't care how young you are. You could be 7. I'm holding you accountable. Like, as long as you have sense, these are things you should know not to do. And while I do believe that some the OGs around him probably failed in letting him get too far into that street life, those decisions, if they are true because they're alleged, it's so serious. I could not point the blame at no one but him, and that's why he's where he is.
I feel you, but at the same time, like, it takes a village to raise a child. I got a friend that's doing life in prison for murder, and unfortunately, and I have conversations with him from time to time, and one of the biggest things that he used to tell me is like, yo, if I would have had somebody care about me, I probably wouldn't have made a lot of the decisions I made.
Right.
And no, he's convicted for murder. You know what I'm saying? He's convicted. I can't erase what he did. He can't erase what he did. He knows what he did, but a lot of times, if we could prevent that, that's why I'm talking about the kids that shoot these videos where they point all the guns and all that, because when you point a gun in a video, what are you really insinuating? Right. That you'll commit a murder. So my thing is that if we could get to them a little bit earlier, then we develop less Tay-Ks as far as the situations that they get.
Right. Look, Ak, you've seen season 4 of The Wire, right? If you see that, I think you understand what he's saying, right? Good kids end up in really bad situations in childhood that then shape their life. And it's extra sad watching him go through all of this and then write these sad letters like, look, I really wanted to be on the freshman cover. You know what I mean? Because it seems like part of him really maybe did want to be great and be an artist.
There's a little light there.
But it feels like it's too late now.
All right, y'all want me to play devil's advocate?
Okay.
If he ain't did what he did, he ain't as big of an artist. Nobody knows him today. Blew up off the race. Everybody was I knew the story before I knew the song.
I feel you, and I'm not disputing that.
So with that, and I think I was making just a different point.
Yeah.
So it's not even the point going against yours. So I agree. People failed him. But I will say, just on a constructive note, and I hope people around him do really say this to him, they're still fighting for you to get bailed because the crimes you're accused of committing, as serious as they are, you were underage. So there's a possibility you could get out on bail, under certain circumstances. It doesn't help the fact that you once went on a run, right, and made a song about it. But if they see that you're working towards showing that, hey, I was 17 or 16 when that happened, now I'm 18, now I've been making strides to show you guys I'm a little bit more responsible. Which doesn't help that you're getting caught with cell phones and other illegal contraband in jail. But you see how Kodak treated his shit? Kodak Black was in there. They said Kodak Black was studying for 11 hours a day.
I know, but they facing, the thing is that they facing different charges.
Yeah, but
they're in different states. It's totally different. He's in Texas. He's facing the death penalty if he gets convicted.
You're right, but
you know
it all goes in the context of the stuff they're fighting for. His lawyers, every single day, are filing new motions to say, why isn't he even allowed bail? You get me? And you know what a prosecutor's gonna say? Because he's not even acting right in jail.
Yeah, I mean,
what's these other things? You get me?
And I'm not saying there's nothing, like, my thing is this, right? It's alleged, right? It's alleged, but if he didn't do it, I get that as well. Like, if we don't have the race song, then we don't have the same conversation about his music, right? The only thing I'm saying is like, when I was 16, 17, my friend's uncle is a CO. He worked on Rikers, and he caught me doing some shit. And he was like, yo, listen, I'm telling you right now, when you get the Rikers, I can't do a fucking thing for you. I'm not going to help you. We're going to see how much of a man you are when you get there. And that, in my mind, prevented me from doing a lot of shit and jumping into the next level of shit that I was doing. And I was doing some bullshit, but I had that. You know what I'm saying? I had that. Oh, I was just speaking about his community feeling him in the beginning.
No, of course.
I don't know exactly how he grew up, but what I'm saying is like, cause we have very young viewers, and they into a lot of the young guys that they got the 30 and they call it dicks and all that other shit, and that's not cute. End of the day, you don't want to be in a position where you're gonna have to use that gun, and we should stop.
It's a reality check.
It's definitely
this song is a reality check. Like all that shit that. And this is why hip hop is so confusing sometimes, because I'm not gonna lie, just like video games, but video games are clear separation. You see the animation, all that. Yeah. Hip hop's, a lot of the lyrics and music, we believe so much that it's mirroring the lifestyle of the performer.
And we like that about our performers, but this is how crazy America gets, and this is a whole nother conversation that we could probably have on another show that we could do. But we are addicted to. We're addicted to violence. I mean, how many, I can tell you every single scene and every Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, Commando, The Matrix, jumping out the window, shooting at 100 people. That shit looks cute until actual life is lost. And I think the problem within hip hop is that we don't take the time to really realize the detriment that these videos that we repost have, because a lot of these kids make these records, they be beefing with another kid 4 blocks away from them. So when a person reposts it and they get a lot of hits, they like, oh, we got it. Before, like I said, it was like 3 o'clock. Somebody said they gonna fight you. What you gonna do? Now it's, you gotta do a video. That video and that video going back and forth leads to somebody getting murdered. Leads to everybody losing. So we just gotta be a little bit mindful as a hip hop community and fraternity how we treat these cases, because then we have Tay-Ks.
Yeah, imagine sitting in a cell in the darkness for 23 hours a day. If you can't even stay off Instagram for 15 minutes, just try it. Isolate yourself for a whole day and see how shitty that feels. You know what I mean? Right. We'll see what happens, but this is just very unfortunate. Right. All right, we are going to end on a light note for once. We want to say a big congratulations to 2 Chainz, who just got married. He got a white tiger for the wedding. Here's Yeezy. Yo, this picture of Wayne, there's like another picture of him solo, is the best thing I've seen. Look how happy he looks.
Everybody was joking about Wayne. Wayne looks happy, yo.
Let that man just be happy Wayne and smile. Love to see him smile.
I haven't seen that smile of the Lord. Everybody was getting on him about, oh, he looks happy.
All that smiling shit, man. Why you ain't snuff Kanye for Drake, man?
Oh, stop it, man. Salute the 2 Chainz, though, man. Like, big step in your life, big step for the family, man. Salute
Hey,
the 2
I love
Chainz.
that rappers are now, like,
getting married.
Super happy about getting married. They're publicizing it. They're publicizing when they got kids.
See, good influences.
Man, I feel like in the past, when these rappers were deadbeats and just...
Wait, not 2 Chainz.
No. Like, right. I mean, like, from previous eras, like, it felt like that was almost the thing. Like, we didn't see as many, and maybe it's because of Instagram, right? Instagram, you're in people's houses.
Right.
But it didn't feel like publicly you saw rappers trying to be like, oh yeah, we can rap about that, but yeah, I'm married. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like, yeah, them big booty bitches, I can't wait to perform with these big booty. You know, got that little birthday song? Yeah, but I'm going home to my wife after the strip club, okay? It gives us a different perspective of the entire career of a rapper, right? Yeah, you might turn up in the beginning and at some point you settle down and you can still do you, so.
Yeah, but I just like, you know, what's really dope about it is just to see a man leading. You know what I mean? Just see a man leading his family. That's what's just so amazing about it. You know, just to see 2 Chainz and his family happy. That's just dope. Salute to them. They brought the tiger out. I hope people didn't get too close to it. I'm all for like the animals, but just don't get close to them.
Keep them in a cage.
You know what I mean?
Hey, not that he wasn't grown or evolved, but I've loved watching 2 Chainz over the last couple of years.
Shit, his whole career, Titty Boy. You know what I mean? Titty Boy just got married, you feel me?
Yeah, like even beyond the music, like I see him in the community so much. I see him popping up and helping families out and being so selfless. I think that those efforts are very underappreciated. And again, he's leading us how to become men. You know what I mean? He'll probably be teaching people, so you know what I mean? I like what he's doing.
Yeah, and you guys made a good point. So obviously Chainz and Pusha are a little bit older, but people like Kendrick and Cole, although they're way more low-key, and I get to see them posting on Instagram. Yeah, there are younger artists who are big who also value relationships.
G-Herbo
Nice
Father
to
of the
see.
Year.
Yeah, G Herbo, you know what I mean?
Young legends.
Young Herbo.
All right, guys, that's our show for today. So look, send me more Struggle Exchange questions. We want to do an entire episode with just fans questions next Thursday. So if you guys start sending them now, I can save all of those and we can have a fun show.
Let's do it.
All right.
Does somebody get Nicki up here, man? We want to talk to Nicki.
I don't think she wants to deal with you.
All right.
No, she's doing everything now.
Anyway, guys, that's our show for today. We'll see you here tomorrow on
After all of
Everyday
that, right?
Struggle. Yeah, like what would you say to Nicki? What would she say to you?
Peace, y'all.
We talk about
Yeah, right.
all the fake news.